hit the deck. Someone's going to win by heck on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Hi, thank you. What a nice way to start today. Gene Wood, good to see you. Thank you. And we thank John Trout. Looks like he ran out of lines there. Someone's going to win by heck. But we thank John Trout of Phoenix, Arizona for that opening poem. Thank you, John. Now let's get to the cards. Janice and Bettina, if you will, start loading in 2 brand new decks of cards and we'll meet our players on Card Sharks. George Cox, our champion. Hi, George. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Won't you remind us about yourself?
My name is George Cox. I'm from Oakland, California. I'm temporarily unemployed. My major hobbies are reading physiology and anatomy and trying to parlay horses.
Ah, and you won $950 to help with the parlay,
Beautiful.
Right? Yeah.
Very good.
I must tell you that I said you looked very distinguished. You looked like a maitre d'. Our producer elevated you. He said you looked like a Supreme Court justice.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
So if you're looking for a job, there may be an opening one of these days.
Maybe so. I'll look.
Good to have you back, George. We're meeting our challenger for the first time. This is Kris Kuba. Hello, Kris. Welcome. Got some friends here with you?
Looks like it.
Won't you tell us about yourself?
My name is Kris Kuba, originally from Houston, Texas. I'm now going to school at San Diego State University. My major is civil engineering, and I'm minoring in anthropology. And I'm a part-time waitress.
Civil engineering. That sounds like an unusual job for a lady.
It is. I'm a minority.
How did you get involved with that?
Well, originally I thought the male versus female ratio wouldn't be too bad. I turned out to like the stuff.
Oh, that was a good reason either way. Nice to have you here. Good luck to both of you. Each player has a deck of 52 playing cards, and they cut the cards before we went on the air. Of course, the cards are shuffled, and George, the champion, plays the upper cards, the red cards. Kris, the challenger, the lower cards, the blue cards. Before he can begin calling high-low on the cards, you must win a high-low toss-up question, and we start with a question to you, George. We asked 100 married women, when your husband first proposed marriage to you, did you seriously consider turning him down? How many women said they did consider turning the proposal down?
Well, I think that most women think that the first proposal is a joke anyway. And the guy is not very serious. So I would say 35.
35 thought of turning him down the first time. Kris, higher or lower?
Well, I think a proposal's a pretty serious thing. I think if someone proposes, they'd think twice. So I think it's going to be higher than that.
Even higher than that?
I think more women would consider turning him down.
All right, if it is higher, Kris, you'll go to the board first. If not, it'll be George. And the actual number of married women who considered turning their husband's marriage proposal down is 21. It's not higher. George, you got it.
Right on. Right on.
And George, we'll take a look at your base card, starting with a big
Wow,
ace.
that's a good card.
Great start.
That's a good card. The next card is lower.
Lower than an ace. It is a 5.
Okay.
Remember, you can freeze at any
5
time.
is not such a good card, but I'm going to go on, and the next card is higher.
Gonna risk it. Higher than a 5. Oh, it's another 5. It's not higher, and you lose both cards. Back to the base card. Kris, that gives you a free chance to play a 3.
That's a great card. I'm going to say the next card's going to be higher than the 3.
Higher than a 3. Yes, with a queen.
The next card's going to be lower than a queen.
Lower than a queen. It is a 6.
I'm going to freeze.
She'll freeze. We move the freeze bar over. Can't take those cards away from you, and Janice will fill in the spaces for George. And Kris, the question to you. We asked 100 men. 2 of the biggest fads to hit college campuses were swallowing live goldfish and streaking through a crowd of strangers completely nude, in case you've forgotten what streaking was. If you were forced to do one or the other, which one would you choose? How many of those 100 men said if they had to choose, they would swallow the goldfish?
I don't know. We went through a long period of a lot of streaking going on. I think more men would rather streak. I wouldn't want to swallow goldfish.
So how many do you think would swallow the goldfish?
I think probably 20 would rather swallow goldfish.
20 would rather swallow goldfish than streak, George.
Well, I kind of go along with her reasons, but I think it's going to be higher.
You say higher.
Yes.
The actual number of men who would swallow goldfish rather than streak is 28. It's higher, George, again. You've got control.
Right on.
Still looking at an ace. I know you want
I'm going to keep the ace, and I'm going to go lower.
Lower than an ace. Yes, with a 10.
I'm going to play the 10, and I'm going to go lower.
And risking it lower than a 10. This time he gets away with a
I'm going to
7.
freeze.
We've got a tie as George freezes. Each player needs 2 to win. George, we asked 100 8th grade students in Wabash, Indiana, who was the first man to walk on the moon? How many 8th graders knew that Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon?
Well, 8th graders are pretty hip now. They've learned a lot by the time they get to the 8th grade. So I'm going to say about 47.
47 knew that Armstrong first walked on the moon, Kris.
8th graders. I don't think that many 8th graders would know that. I really don't. I'm going to say lower.
You say lower.
Right.
And get some agreement with the audience on that. And the actual number of 8th graders who knew that Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon is 66. Not lower, George.
Right on.
Again, you've got that all-important control. Now, George, you won the question. You have the right to change
May
the
I
base
change
card.
the 7, please?
Next card off the top of the deck is a 5. Little better card.
That's a little better card. Okay, I'm going to go higher.
Higher than a 5. Yes, with an 8.
I'm going to freeze.
Freezing, needing just 1 card, while Kris needs 2, and we are at sudden death. The final question. Someone has to win with this play. Kris, we polled 100 men who are senior citizens and asked them, very simply, have you ever flown in an airplane? How many said yes?
I think quite a few. I think most people have flown in an airplane. I'm going to say 80 people had flown.
80 senior citizen men have flown in an airplane, George.
Again, her reasoning is pretty good, but when you say senior citizens, I'm going to say it's a bit lower.
Lower. The actual number of senior citizens who have flown in an airplane is 96, not lower. Kris, you've got control. Kris, you're looking at a 6. You need 2 cards to win. George needs just 1. Your decision, Kris. Do you want to play it or pass it?
I'm going to take a risk and play it.
You're going to play
I would
it.
like to change my 6.
And you can change that 6, and you need both cards. You're playing with a big ace. 1 mistake,
That's
George
a great
wins.
card. I'm going to go lower.
Lower than an ace. Yes, with an 8. Wow, right up the middle. You've got to call it.
I'm going to go with the odds and say lower.
If this is lower, you've won the first game in the best 2 out of 3 match. If it is not, George wins. For the win, yes, it's lower. Kris wins it. Game number 1 and $100 to the challenger. We'll set up for game 2 coming up right after we take time out for this.